We will get started in 8 minutes. 8 minutes. We will get started in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Good morning, pre-gamers. How are y'all doing? I hope you're doing great. I hope you had a wonderful trading day yesterday. I hope the NASDAQ pullback didn't hurt you too badly. I wouldn't say we have structure broken in the charts, but overall I know that pause was a little surprise for a lot of people, but we have VIX still under 20. We don't have a lot of fear in this market. At this point, of course, it just looked like a healthy pullback. So we'll see what's going to happen. As always, we'll get started with the overall futures, the Fab Four, commodities, cryptos, and the movers and shakers. I'm Chart Gal Lori. I am part of the Chart Guys community. I am one of the technical analysts where we teach technical analysis, and we do the pre-game show to just kind of get you started for the day. So let's get started with ES. I'm going to clear this all out. These are my chart settings. If you use the 12 and 26 EMA, the 100 MA, whatever you may use, just be consistent with your indicators. Don't get caught up on what the numbers are. So we're making a new all-time high in the market. So we just made a new all-time high at 414450. I will end with SPY. So we're looking at ES futures right here. I will end with SPY so you have those levels as well. But as far as resistance, it'll be all psychological since we're making all-time highs. And remember, RSI does not matter as much when we are in blue sky breakouts. We are at 67 on the hourly, RSI 70, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 74. But again, it does not matter as much in blue sky breakout. So we have NASDAQ. NASDAQ has a lot more work to do to get back to where it was on yesterday at 14029. We've done a lot to repair the structure. So we made a higher high, higher low, and now we're looking for a lower high relative to 14029. Got plenty of room for a higher low with NASDAQ. So let me zoom in and give you some shorter term time frame levels. We have support at 13878, 13864. We've gotten through this resistance of 13917. So again, our next resistance 14,000 psychological and 14029. Let me go back to that hourly chart. Whatever chart you're looking at, simplify your life in two ways. Look at yesterday's high and yesterday's low. Put those levels on your chart and then look at hourly. Is the chart broken, uptrend or downtrend? We're in an uptrend now. NASDAQ is now bullish. I use plus sign for bullish, minus for bear. So right now we are bullish. Hourly trend has corrected itself. It has righted the ship, if you will, on NASDAQ. So whatever chart you're looking at, make your life easy. Ask yourself, what is the hourly trend, up or down? And especially if you're a newer trader, I wouldn't go counter trend. Go with the trend. It'll make your life a lot easier. And then look at yesterday's high and low. And that will help you determine, are we bullish? If we're above yesterday's high, that's bullish. If we're below yesterday's low, that's bearish. And if we're in between that range, that's an inside bar. Looking at IWM. So IWM has had an amazing recovery. Yesterday, we talked about what the bank financial earnings would do and what the oil inventory could do for the Dow and for IWM. And sure enough, oil pop, bank earnings were good, and we got this bullish move in IWM. RTY just means the Russell. This is the futures for IWM. Your next resistance is up at 227350, then 228090. Your support is down at 2237 and 220150. So we got the pause with NASDAQ. We got the bullish push with RTY and YM, and that helped balance out the market overall. So NASDAQ, the question now is, how big of a break will it take? Of course, we got our hourly trend, and yesterday may have been the only break we get for NASDAQ bulls to buy that dip. So again, we're looking on the 4-hour for a lower high relative to 14029. If I keep referring back to the NQ chart, that's because I think it's absolutely critical today. We are at a new all-time high with Dow, 33823. The bank earnings have been fantabulous. They have been absolutely amazing. So the Dow has definitely benefited. Johnson & Johnson is part of the Dow, just a little point of reference. So we did have some bearish news, Johnson & Johnson, but the bank positive earnings have been able to just really boost YM and the overall bullishness. Let's zoom in. So your support 33755, 33739. So we just broke it by 23 points here. We broke the all-time high. That does not make an all-time high break. We're developing an upper wick here on the 15-minute of bears selling in to this pop. So just be a little bit careful. We may need a breather here. We are in blue sky breakout. Our RSI is up at 71 on the hourly. 31 is up at 74. So overall, when we have our Fab 4 sectors pulling in the same direction, which is bullishness this morning, we are set up for a bullish day, but we should always be prepared for whatever the market may throw at us. So yesterday's inventory report, we haven't seen this, at least I haven't, in a long time, where we have this huge push from oil inventory and or a huge dump. Normally it's kind of muted. Yesterday's bullish, response was just huge. So 63.50, we're going to round this off. 63.50 is your resistance, 62.53 is your support, then 60.89. When you have these huge moves, typically whatever name you're looking at, whatever issue, whatever ETF, futures, whatever, it has to digest it, where it says, wow, we made this huge move, and I liken it to running a marathon. So the oil bulls ran a huge marathon yesterday. Look at that, huge marathon, and they just came back to the bench and said, coach, give me some water, give me a towel, let me take a breather. Oh, I'm gonna go sprint. Okay, I gotta hand the baton to somebody else. I gotta take a breather. And that's all they're doing. This is not bearish with this pullback. This is just healthy consolidation. I remember when I started trading, I would hear people say, oh, I want to pull back to get in. That didn't make any sense to me. If if I'm in that name, I want it to keep going. Well, this is unsustainable. So we want breaks that go sideways. So I like to always remind everyone that up is a direction, of course, down is a direction, of course, and so is sideways. Sideways is a direction, and when we have a preceding bull trend, a sideways direction actually is very bullish, because that means the bears were unable to take it down while the bulls were on the bench. So the bulls were over here on the bench taking a breather, and the bears were unable to take it down. So with oil, overall bullish, short-term resistance 63.10, 63.50, support 62.53. If we were to break 62.53 with just a slight bobble and then reverse, it could be a bull flag on a larger time frame. Let's look at that. 4 hour, that's about the world's messiest bull flag I've ever seen. On the 6 hour, it's a little bit cleaner. So just look for a potential bear bobble and then reverse to the upside. Your next support, if we were to break 62.53, is down at 61.23 and 60.89. Looking at gold for all you gold bugs. So we have an upper wick here. We broke this 1750, which happens a lot, where in futures we go break a resistance or a support and then resume to the, just reverse it. And that's what happened. So we just, flip it and reverse it. Missy Elliott, they just did a flip it and reverse it here. So we have a bearish candle forming on the hourly. The bulls are trying to save it. So you have support down at 1744. Then after 1744, down at 1737. And your resistance after this pop, 1752, is up at 1753. I like silver. So silver futures, it is definitely more bullish than gold. So I actually have a starter position in AG, which is a 2 times ETF on silver to the bullish side. So I like this overall chart. I love that we have a higher high. Let's see, we broke it by 5 cents. We need a little bit more follow through, but overall silver is slightly more bullish than gold. Now let's go look at crypto. Crypto, we saw yesterday that 1.272 extension rejection. So we got that swing high, swing low, and we hit it by, what was that, $5? We came $5 shy of hitting that 1.272 extension, 64911. Let's get back on auto. So we've lost our hourly uptrend, 63. And with Bitcoin, I really like to remind myself, just round things off, because again, this is just worse than futures. They like to run stops, which means they go past this resistance and then reverse it back to the downside. So if I keep things at round numbers, it gives me a slightly more protection. 63484.77 is your support. 62352 support, then 61277. Let's go through the psychology of running stops. I think a lot of people like to say it because it sounds cool. What is it? That is where these exchanges, so Coinbase, which they had a decent direct listing yesterday, but so they run stops. So they go past the 63388 up to 6348877 and then pull it down. They've collected all these fees of running these stops and triggering all these people that were possibly short. They trigger all these stops, collect these fees, and reverse it back to the downside. Look what they just did. They broke 62.32738, triggered all these stops, collected all these fees, and then reversed it. How can you trade this? You must use stop losses. First of all, wiggle room, and second of all, smaller positions. If you have smaller positions, you can give it a little more wiggle room and it not break the bank. And I'm okay with getting stopped out and then getting back in, especially with futures and stocks. Crypto is a little more painful because the fees are so high. So with Ethereum, we have an hourly higher high, and we came back and we are at 2405. Odds favor a lower high now when we bounce. The question is, will it be an EQ or will we bear a flag? I would say with the angle of this bounce, it favors more of an EQ. So we're looking for a lower high relative to 248650, then a higher low relative to 2405 if we can get this bounce going. So let's just spitball it, which I like to do. 50% of this $86 is $43.25. So if we could get up to 2443, that would be about a 50% retrace. So when you think of fibs, all these different percentages that look fancy, just think about what we're after. We're after that 50% retrace, 244575. It's just logical math. It's not too fancy. Then that would give us enough room for a higher low. If we stop at this 243613, then a bear flag is possible. So about a third from the upside. If we give back a third and then resume back to the upside, that's a bull flag. If we give back about a third on a bounce, we bounce about a third and then pull back, that could be a bear flag. So 33%, 38%. You do give that wiggle room on upside or downside for bull flags, bear flags, and 50% retrace. Typically, you're going to get an EQ and a higher low relative to 2405. I may need to go over that again in the future. I went through that real fast, and that may have been a little confusing. I may have confused myself by the way I said it. So we are done with crypto. Now let's movers and shakers. So Amazon announced they have 200 million Prime members, and this is being perceived bullishly. We're coming up on the 200 MA on the 15-minute. I would look for price to potentially pause depending on how bullish this news is being interpreted. We have no support until 33.5206, then 33333. So we have prior resistances over here that could come into play and act as support. If on a pullback, our next resistance is not until, let me go to the 15-minute. It's not until the high of day. So let's make that $3,400 psychological, then 3404.13 overall. Yes, we had a pullback on Amazon because we double topped here. We came within $2 of this 3434, and then we pulled back. Look at this bear volume. This bear volume on, what is that, Tuesday and Wednesday was pretty low. The bears did not bring the volume to pull it down. So I'm looking to add to my Amazon position. I would love for it to touch the 8 EMA, which is down at 3307.51. Doesn't look like we're going to get that right now with that bullish news. So let's see what the bulls do with this. On the hourly, we're looking for lower highs. We may be through that 3367. I just don't like that pivot. 4 hour for clarity, we're looking for a lower high and then a higher low relative to 3326. Yesterday's low becomes a key support. Yesterday's high becomes a key level. If we open above that, that is extremely bullish for Amazon, but we would still look for it to top out before that 3432. Okay. Let me look. Making sure I'm not missing anything. All right, the next one back. BAC. So yesterday we discussed GS and the bullishness of that buyback. So just for comparison, GS, I believe, please confirm the numbers or verify the numbers for yourselves. $2.7 billion buyback in the first quarter. Bank of America had about 2.9 buyback. But Bank of America announced a $25 billion buyback program for second quarter. They're doing this with the Fed reserves that they got from the Fed printer last year. I don't know exactly what that means for their overall strength, but they did have a huge increase in investment, banking revenues, trading revenues. But overall, I'd be watching bank for a potential trade today. 39.81 is your support, 40.33. Let me get those daily levels. Let me get it in a cleaner format. Yesterday's high, 40.33. Yesterday's low, 38.92. If we kind of zoom in a little bit, we have another level here of 39.81. If we were to pull back to 39.81, this is an area where I would look to go long, and I'd put my stop at around 39.79. So give it about 2 pennies of wiggle room and see if I could get a move back to the upside. So I like Bank of America to the upside with this huge buyback news. As long as it's digesting sideways, it would give me an opportunity to trade it with options. I would be looking at the $40 call options that expire tomorrow for a day trade. Because it's Thursday, I will stay with this week's. On Fridays, typically I flip to the following week's expiration. We have 4 minutes left. BTBT, they keep having positive news, and it seemed like silly news, like an executive change. Sorry if you're a BTBT executive. I don't mean to like diminish your value, but overall it doesn't seem like big news to get all this volume in pre-market. So we have a swing high from January 4th, we have a swing low March 1st, our 0.382 we're rejecting at that 1948. So I have these just in case I were to need them and want to trade this. 1522 and 1467, your support. Again, digesting this news, I would digest this more bearishly. So on this pop, it could be a fade opportunity up at either $16.29, $17, or $17.49. Coin had a crazy direct listing yesterday, then it faded down to 310. Then after hours, it came out that Kathy sold Tesla to buy Coin. We were looking for Kathy Wood with ARK. We were looking for people to sell the bigger names to buy Coin, and sure enough, it was Tesla that took the hit, took one for the team yesterday, and Kathy bought Coin. So we're getting a bull push from Kathy buying it and overall people wanting in. Remember, we have lots of ETFs. The CNBC count was approximately 12 ETFs that should be buying Coin, that it fits their overall mission, directive, objectives for their ETF. So we'll see what happens with Coin today. I am using price levels 369, resistance 34622, and 338 support, but it actually matches up with the fibs so clearly that I almost just need the fibs to trade this. So if it were to pop up into, let me delete what I just did. If it were to pop up into 38388, that would be a short opportunity. If it were to pull back to 33821, that would be a long opportunity. We have 2 minutes left. GSK with lots of volume. I don't know what their news was. I really looked long and hard for their news and couldn't find it. We have a TTM squeeze on the daily. We're breaking through all these key resistances. You have a gap up here at 37.42. It looks like we're going to fill that on a pop up, and then you have another gap up at 38.02. So pretty bullish news. I don't like trading these type names. It's not my type of trade. You have support down here at 3767, 3549. You had a high yesterday of 36.32. If we were to pull back to that level, that may be a key area to go long. Space. So what's his name? Branson sold 150 million of his stock. Please verify all of this data and dollar points and value points that I give you. Remember, I'm digesting this pretty early in the morning, but overall bearishness for Branson to sell any of his shares. 25.12, 25.09 support. Then after that, 23.94. I would be a buyer of space down at 23.94 as a bottom fish opportunity, but that's counter trend, high probability of getting stopped out. Tesla, just like giving you these levels, Tesla took it on the nose yesterday with the Coinbase listing. Kathy sold lots of her shares. 78669 is your resistance, $800 psychological, then 80267. Then you have support down at 734.06, 732.88. Then finally, SPY. SPY, we're in all-time high territory. 413.96 was your high yesterday. We're right below that right now in pre-market open. 413.08, 413.05 is your next support. Then 411.73. Yesterday's range was a huge range. If you had gun to my head, what would I predict today? We could possibly stay within this range, and that'd be perfectly healthy if we'd stay in the upper end of this range for a daily inside bar. And if we could get a bull flag, even better. But inside bar is highly probable. As long as we kind of stay near the high of yesterday, then we could break it bull. So let's see what happens. Stay safe out there. Use stop losses. Thank you for joining us. TCG members, jump on over to our general chat room and join Denzi for the opening show. And I will see y'all tomorrow.